Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL Premiership Week 2. I am Oisin Malloy, and joining me again is going to be Rob Grosser, James Price, and we're jumping straight into picks and bans for the reverse fixture of Nerdrage versus Misfits Academy. Rob, what are you expecting from these two sides? Misfits kind of ran away with it last week.
Yeah, this is going to be Nerdrage looking to redeem themselves quite substantially. They had a very bad showing against Misfits last week out. You could see lane matchups that they should have won, they were really falling behind in, and they really couldn't find a foothold into the game before Misfits, even with that super late scaling composition, finished the game out in like 27 minutes, I want to say. It was so short. So these guys really need to step up to the plate and make sure that Misfits don't run away with it like they did last time.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to wait and see. But the bans coming in thick and fast already. Nerdrage on the blue side with Misfits on the red. And we see Varus, excuse me, not Vayne, Galio and Gangplank locked away from the side of Misfits, or from the side of Nerdrage, while Misfits Academy more so prioritizing now Braum, Sejuani. And I might be curious to see what their last ban is. They kind of have the runaway, or the kind of the run of any kind of, you know, lane they want to go with. So I'm curious to see who they affect on this one and who they target.
Yeah, it looks like they are actually going to ban away the Kog'Maw, because we are still on 8.2, so those Kog'Maw nerfs haven't hit, so he's still the number 1 AD carry for the moment. But this leaves kind of a clear opening for Nerdrage. They should be looking to pick up the Azir on this first pick, or they could try and go for something like a jungler here to make sure that they're completely set going into this. I'm not surprised looking at the bans that have come through from the side, the Varus, the Galio, the Gangplank. These are all picks that teams have struggled with against Misfits Academy. Chris Berg had a great showing on the Varus yesterday when he was playing against Diablos. The special has been incredible on the Galio, and Shikari demolished Governor last week when he was on the Gangplank into that Camille matchup. But looks like we are going to see the Tam picked up for Snuggly in the bot lane. Little bit of an odd pick. I mean, wouldn't be the highest priority. I suppose Braum is off the board, so you are looking to secure something good for yourself in the bot lane, but there's still a lot of options there.
Yeah, we'll see now. Zoe locked in now for special into that mid lane. Zoe, such an awfully annoying champion to go against, along with the Tristana. But Zoe, we are still on 8.2, ladies and gentlemen. Not quite transitioned to 8.3 or further beyond at that. So still very strong. So much spammability with that star paddle. So much kind of gank setup ability as well, for lack of a better term, if there even is a better term, you know, with that sleepy bubble trouble. So Misfits already getting themselves some really good laning phase, as well as a little bit of late game insurance with that Tristana.
Exactly, and they've also set up quite well for that siege game. You've got the Zoe who can hover around those walls, fire the sleepy trouble bubbles in, and you've also got that Tristana who just destroys turrets if she can get her hands on them. So they've set themselves quite up towards that pushing game that they've been doing so well, especially when you look at how they've been getting a lot of their victories. It's just out-rotating their opponents. So if you're able to get to these lanes and get to the towers before your opponent can, something like a Zoe can pick them off in the jungle, as the Tristana is just tearing through every structure on the map.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see exactly how they kind of go for it. Xayah and Zac picked up now for Nerdrage after that Tam Kench, so they're looking at a fair bit of protection and engage with a lot of beefy frontline. Xayah, though, not known as the hyper late game, but can kind of set up with those, you know, utility roots that she's got with those feathers.
Yeah, we've seen a tendency away towards that Jarvan pick, which was always considered kind of the number 1 in there with Sejuani, but a lot of people are now tending towards the Zac and towards a lot of other picks in the jungle as well. I mean, we even saw in North America the Skarner popping his way into the competitive scene as well, but it looks like we're actually going to be looking towards a support on the bottom side for Pros Fair, so we're going to be locking in that Janna, which means that now they've got even more disengaged that's going to be coming through. When you see the likes of the Zac, you know that you're into the Tam Kench as well, who's not really going to be able to bully you in the laning phase. You know you're in a good spot, so just taking something that can disengage and ensure that they're able to set up these sieges quite comfortably as we move forward into the game.
Yeah, Jarvan been taken away, as well as that Azir. So we're seeing Misfits, they do not want to give Kroxan that Azir in the mid lane. Neither do they want to give him the Rise. So two big mid lane bans coming out from Misfits, opening up so many opportunities for this Zoe. We'll have to see. I imagine another jungle ban coming out from the side of Nerdrage, just to really put Afflict onto some serious pressure right now. And I want to know exactly where they go from this as well. I want to know exactly how they come back out of this and how they kind of move forward. But there it is. A Kha'Zix taken out. So Sejuani, Kha'Zix, and Jarvan all taken away from the side of Misfits. But they've kind of gotten what they wanted. A strong mid lane, a strong bot lane. There's not really much else to say.
Well, we've seen Afflict come out with so many junglers. I'm surprised that they're trying to ban him out. I mean, we've seen him on the Rengar, and Nunu is still open at the moment. He's actually going to go with the Nidalee this time around. So just going to be that nuisance that we saw him play in the last time they faced up against Nerdrage. He was getting in very early into the jungle on the Rengar and completely punishing Quoth for just being in his side of the map. It was incredible to watch, but a pain if you're on the side of Nerdrage, because now you've not only got something that does that times two, but you're also on something that can't even really deal with this. Zach, not known for his early game dueling potential.
Yeah, has got the early game ganking, but that's kind of in a 2v1 situation. And with this Nidalee pick, like you said, Afflict's going to have so much pressure in that early game. And Ornn locked in now as well for Governor in that top side. So we're going to see him come out. He's kind of fallen out of favor a little bit just because of so many consecutive nerfs to him and his kit. Naturally, considering how broken he was when he first came out. And it looks like it's going to be the Vladimir locked in for that mid lane for the side of Nerdrage as well as the final pick.
Yeah, I was going to say, it would have been... I'm actually kind of surprised to see them go with the Ornn in this scenario, because there's still like the likes of the Camille and stuff on the board that can do very well. The Gnar as well is there. So they still have a lot of very strong picks that can go into the Ornn, but this is just doubling down on that long range engage. They want to make sure that Misfits don't have that comfort of setting up the siege that they want to go for in this scenario. Like, look at the amount of poke that they have. Nidalee, Zoe, the Tristan as well with that rapid fire cannon. There's so much damage that can come through once you get Nerdrage bundled up underneath these towers. So this is Nerdrage saying, okay, we're going to have to try and face up against this at some point. This is how we're going to break it. The Braum is gone, which means that Ram is going to come in and disrupt everyone on Misfits. You're going to have Zach launching himself into the back line, and you've got all this follow-up coming through from the Vladimir and from the Xayah as well. So it's them trying to force these fights to make sure that Misfits can't set up the siege.
Yeah, locked and loaded, ladies and gentlemen, but, you know, we'll have to wait and see exactly how these go, but I kind of like how Misfits are going. It's super aggressive early game. It's very, very strong laning phases as well as a good bit of late game insurance. There's a lot going up for them as such into these team fights, and it's going to be, I see a very difficult situation where, you know, Nerdrage want to team fight with the Zac and with the kind of, you know, the Ornn using those AoE ultimates, but I don't see them quite getting the opportunities to.
The biggest thing that I'm looking at in them trying to force these team fights is actually this top lane matchup. Governor did not show up well against Shikari last time. He was on the Camille, the counter pick into the gangplank, and was still 30 CS behind as we moved into the mid game. And that's not something that he can be doing. Maybe it's not his comfort zone. Maybe it's not the champion that he likes to play. But if you're going to lock it in against the caliber of a player like Shikari, you need to be able to make sure that they're not posting numbers like that against you. So I need to see Governor step up to the plate. He has the Ornn. He enjoys playing the tanks. And now we're going to see if he can match up against Shikari's Gnar. And that's really a big question mark for me in this game, is can they actually hold the top lane? Because if they can't, well, now you've got a very big avenue for Misfits to play through. They can send the Gnar into the top side or the bottom side of the map, get the split push rolling. And if you've got to send two members to go and deal with this Gnar, you're not going to be able to break the siege in the same way that we were just discussing.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Nerdrage, like you said, they have to step it up. They're against, again, the biggest team in the league effectively right now. You know, you've got a couple of people kind of rolling around as such at the top side of that table, but that's what you got to go for. That's the kind of thing you have to look to try and get. If you take a game off of Misfits, that could be huge to your chances of making playoffs, and that's what these guys got to be looking for. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to the Rift for Game 1 of Week 2 of the Spring Season 2018 ESL Premiership. And let's see if Nerdrage can actually make anything happen.
Yeah, they might be looking towards Misfits making something happen in the early stages of the game. They've already been grouped up, but they will be spotted out by the Zac, just looking to get that early vision control in. And this is something we saw them do the last time as well, was just enabled Afflict to go so aggressive into the enemy jungle. They now know where the Zac will be starting, which makes it so much easier for him to go in and invade and be that nuisance.
It looks like it's pretty standard. Good deep ward though, so they'll know where the Zac is starting anyway. But doesn't look like they're gonna gain anything else out of it. We do see a little blue ward just kind of snuck into that blue side as well of Misfits jungle. We'll have to wait and see. Governor, a lot of eyes on him. He's got a lot of pressure now to make sure that he's the one who kind of comes out on top of this. And it looks like Zoe might look for a cheeky steal if she just kind of stick around. But she's seeing a double kind of leash as such. We're going to see the Vlad and the Ornn help out the Zac
and
now.
The double smite as well is key here. Governor has opted for the unsealed spellbook. Going to get Kavolt on a very early jungle route with that. He's very healthy as well, and it just means that he should be able to try to keep ahead of Afflict. And of course, they didn't spot Governor in the early stages, but they will know that he's taking the smite. So now it's going to be on Afflict to see if he can recalculate how fast he can do his jungle, because Zac is going to start it off with a serious speed boost.
Yeah, I mean, already we're seeing a very, very quick pause, but that's a very interesting one I like to talk about, because normally we see people taking the Ignite early for the kill pressure, but I like this adaptation from Governor mainly because he knows he's not going to have that much kill pressure against a Gnar, especially when he's in mini form. So going with that smite just to be able to, you know, constantly keep it, you know, kind of relevant as such to the jungler and kind of say, cool, I'm not going to be able to kill this guy, but you might be able to affect the other lanes. It's a pretty smart move.
Yeah, it's not the worst. As well, you don't really have the kill pressure in the lane as well against the Gnar. Yeah, like, it's great to go Ignite, but realistically, he's not. If Shikari is playing to the way he has been, you're not ever going to get on top of him. So just having that extra little bit of help for your jungler, speed him up, make sure that Afflict can't be that pain as he's going through his jungle route, is going to help him out a lot more. He also gets the TP cooldown as well, which means he can get back to lane faster. So there's a lot of benefits going through it. And we've actually seen like Vladimir's in the past going through the top side of the map as well, and just helping out. But in that scenario as well with the Vladimir, you do have to look at, okay, do you have that kill protection?
Have to wait and see. Zac gonna have, as you said, a little bit of an easier start now in this jungle. Gonna be able to move a lot quicker around. Let's see what he can do with it. That's all the thing. It's not about getting this lead. It's about what you can do with this lead. And that's what he has to try and make sure happens for his team. And he makes something pretty serious happen. As I say that, though, Afflict gonna be able to put down those red buff procs. Get himself away as well. Not too scared of the Zac either, but it's going to be a very, very interesting game to see how this all goes. But also, I want to say we have a new record, 8 stopwatches. We have a new one. It was 7 was the record. We now have 8. We're getting close to a full 10.
I thought this would start to peter off, but it really hasn't. It's just
not yet, not yet.
But looking at Afflict here, he has done away the red buff, and it was actually curious to see. Kavolt went for a very, like, he took a long time to get to his red buff. He cleared out the blue, cleared out the wolves, cleared out the raptors, and then moved to his red buff. And I was really curious because we were just talking about how fast he can get through this jungle route when he's got that extra smite from Governor coming through. But he's kind of gone for naught now because he's only got the Krugs versus the big buff, which is what you really want. So I'm not happy with the way he's played this. He could have gone for that earlier buff, could have finished it before the Nilly arrived in, but wants to make sure that he's able to keep himself safe, pick up the Raptors over the red buff. I'm not sure if that's the best part.
Especially with the red buff kind of giving him the most kind of stats to be able to stay in this lane as well. The health regen, the extra kind of attack damage and burn. It's a lot for the Zac, whereas the blue buff gives him very, very little in the long run of things. So, like you said, we'll have to wait and see exactly how they kind of transition this. But already we're seeing Afflict being so aggressive, being able to push into that bot side jungle, and just waiting for the next, you know, the kind of first big move. And I want to know if it is going to be around a dragon, or potentially when we see kind of, you know, Zac go for a gank maybe, and then get counter ganked by the Nidalee.
I'm really curious, did I just miss the Vladimir smite as well at the early stage of the game? I thought it was only 2, but it might have been 3, which means that, like, their dragon potential is sky high right now.
Yeah, right now at 4.5 minutes.
Yeah. This is the time to do it. It's all part of the plan from Nerdrage. The 4.5 minute Baron with the triple smite. I like it.
So triple smite all coming in, but I suppose it is a thing that, you know, you gotta play a little bit differently if you want to try and come out with the results. You know, that all you need is the big W. That's all that kind of matters for these teams, and if you can get that W against Misfits, that's a huge upset, especially in this league. And no disrespect towards Nerdrage, but you know, they have got their work cut out for them in this game.
Yeah, they definitely do, and we saw it last week. They just weren't able to reach the same level that Misfits were playing at. This time around, we're kind of seeing a bit of a similar story. Flicked is getting into the jungle, stealing away the camps from the Zac, and this is where we start to see Nerdrage fall down a little when they are putting so much pressure on the jungle that Kvolt can't get in and be the help that his team needs in these laning phases. Because when you look at the caliber of players that are on Misfits, that's a very tough laning phase to get through. But when you don't have the help of your jungler, it becomes even more difficult.
Coming up to the 5.5 minute mark, nearly 6 minute mark, excuse me. We're only going to see a 300 gold lead in favor of Misfits, maybe 2.5, but like you said, pressure very much in their favor. So much vision in that bot side jungle. Mid lane doing well already. Special bullying out Krogson. It's just going to be a long, painful game until the side of Nerdrage actually feel confident enough to get those fights off, you know, to get the ultimates that they need and try and look for engages.
Yeah, they do have the double TP swapped back over from those smites. So when you're looking at Zoe, who's just starting to roam down and get vision control in the river, you can see the amount invested in that river control means that she's probably looking to move down towards this bot lane, see if she can pick off Jackamaka or Snuggly, in particular Snuggly, because he's going to be the one that can gobble up Desire whenever he wants. But at the early stage of the game, the TAM isn't particularly tanky, so could end up seeing maybe something come from that. But we'll have to wait and see if Special's actually going to be able to get out of this lane, because right now the Vladimir is keeping him pushed in pretty effectively.
Laning going fairly decently so far for the side of Misfits, but kind of slowly building themselves up a really decent lead, and it's pretty much all in the jungle as well. Maybe a little bit in that mid lane from the farm, but that like kind of, you know, near 600, 700 gold lead is just pretty much all of the side of the mid laner Zoe. So see Governor just making sure Shikari knows you have been spotted. Backs away, nothing too crazy gonna happen, and I'm surprised we're actually at how respectful the side of Misfits are playing. It's only really Afflict who's really going for those kind of crazy, you know, plays or crazy moves as such at the moment. He's the only one going aggressive. But as I say that though, we might see a gank at the top side. No minion wave. I don't really think Afflict really has the kind of tankiness as such to really go for this. They're gonna wait for Shikari to hit Mega and then maybe go for something.
They also did see the Zac up in that topside jungle. Shikari went in to get some vision down the blue and was met by Kvolt there. So I don't think they really want to go for this just yet, but as I say that...
Here we go. There's the Maganar ultimate. Gonna see the Zhonya's pop there immediately, as well as the TP from Krogson. That's gonna be the stopwatch down and the teleport down now for the Vladimir. So a little bit of a net win. As I say that though, gonna use his Hemo Plague just to clear out this wave. Gain a little bit of healing as well. And nothing really happening. Right now, Nerdrage playing damage control. They're just absorbing the pressure, making sure they don't give away any free advantages to the side of Misfits.
Yeah, they haven't been able to find an inlet yet, but this is the thing. Misfits have been great in the laning phase, but it's also been their control of the map with the macro that's been fantastic as well. So even if you're holding on, this is still an uphill battle for Nerdrage at the moment, and particularly if Governor goes down.
Oh, Afflict just pounces on that, and he becomes a scratching post for the Nidalee. First blood going over to Afflict, nicely played, and that's just all that pressure just building up eventually has to pop.
Yeah, once the stopwatch went, once the TP was down from Krogson, and they have the vision control to know where Kvolt is as well, they're able to push in, and this is the Ornn slowly falling behind, but it's also against the Gnar, who he's going to really struggle with once he picks up the Black Cleaver and that Frozen Mallet. This becomes incredibly hard for Governor to hold. So with the Flicks putting that pressure in the top lane, they're starting to open up themselves towards that split push that we were talking about already, and this means that the rest of the team has the potential to go for the siege. So I like the way that they're playing this map. Getting Shikari ahead means that then they're able to play towards their strength in other areas later on.
Yeah, again, like you said, the early jungling, the pressure that's being able to come out, and already seeing about a 1,500 gold lead, and that's just going to slowly keep building, slowly and slowly and slowly, and that's kind of the issue right now for Nerdrage, is that, yes, you can keep absorbing pressure, but when you're not putting down any more yourself, that's a bit of an issue for you.
Yeah, it most certainly is, and actually Shikari is taking a good bit of punishment from Governor here.
Yeah, he is. They're going to trade it back, though, as the top laners start to go ham. No stopwatch here for Governor. Has got flash. Shikari in a little bit of trouble. There is the Forge God coming in. Going to knock him up. Now Shikari forced the flash. A flick coming in off the backside, and Governor's in no man's land. Is actually able to flash away. Dodges the javelin. Will he be able to get out of this alive? A Flick wants it. He's going to go for it. He misses. Oh, he hit the tower. He's on so low. Flick going to be able to go in, and he trades it. Governor able to get a kill there. Such a well-played move there. A little bit greedy from Misfits, and they get punished.
Yeah, Flick thought he could go in. Actually,
oh, as I say, Shikari. Oh, Governor, why? Just not needed to go in on that, and ends up being a kill traded over in the end. Not a great move there, and what looked like such a great move from Governor ended up being a greedy one in the end.
He was so hyped after the Nidalee kill, and then he goes and does that. It was very unfortunate, to be fair. If he'd hit Shikari, he probably would have had the damage to deal it, but Shikari was able to just hop away at the last second and get out of the range of that knockup. So he was able to turn it around once he got the hyper procs, but that was one big mistake followed by another big mistake with Afflict hitting the tower, not actually timing the minions as well. He thought Shikari would have that minion wave in time before the stopwatch ended. Neither went well for him, and then as well Governor giving the kill back over into the hands of Shikari. So it goes even for even, but the big thing is the CS and the experience.
Yeah, as I say that, though, looks like Afflict might be in a lot of trouble. Has not got flash, has not got stopwatch, and he's going to go down ever so soon. Not quite yet, though, and he's going to be able to get the honey for it to keep himself alive. There's going to be so much damage coming out for this Zoe in the backside as Crossfair joins the fight. Tam Kench coming in off the backside as well. Does cancel it, though, just in case. And now the side of Nerdrage are in a lot of hurt. They're in a lot of trouble. There is Afflict gonna eventually get the smite off. He will not die. He will not die. And they eventually pick one up. Afflict keeping himself there by the skin of his teeth, putting his claws, saying, I will not go down. This could be the tipping point. Those kind of things are tilting if you're on the side of Nerdrage.
That was so well played by Afflict. He ends up barely escaping, then gets the honey fruit, then gets the smite to keep him alive, and just baiting in people right, left, and center, meaning that Misfits are able to pick up so much from that fight. Now, nearly a 3k gold lead for themselves, and at the early stage of the game, that is monumental.
Yeah, it is absolutely massive, and just so much they can do now with the side of Misfits. They've got so many options. Afflict just playing Houdini, keeping everyone away from him, doing the impossible. And it looks like they're going to be able to look for something now. They have all lanes pushed up apart from mid, so they have so much pressure just universally around the map.
And watch the pressure that Shikari and Afflict are able to pull towards the top lane. All they do is show towards that top lane turret. And you can see Vladimir's moving, Tam Kench was up in the top jungle, Zach was on his way as well. That just leaves the rest of Misfits to do as they please. Not Shikari, even Chrisberg is pushing in on that bottom side of the map. So now he's getting that turret low. So this is how Misfits are starting to gain their advantages. It's just by pulling Nerdrage around the map because of the pressure that can come down from Afflict and also from Shikari.
Yeah, 3-1-0. Had one little misstep there in the top side, but made up for it definitely by keeping himself alive in that little exchange. And again, how much can they take? How much can Nerdrage really hold on to this? Otherwise, where do they find their win? Where do they come back into this?
It is going to be tough, and especially with the fights in top lane, Governor is losing so many of these.
Yeah, he's going to take a lot of damage. That tower not long for this world either, and he's going to have to be forced to back away. Shikari might just even go for this, to be perfectly honest. He knows he can just take him on. Ooh, not quite, though. Not able to kill off Governor. As I say that, though, we're going to see a fight in the bot side as Zach was gearing up for a slingshot. Not quite able to get it, though. A lot of damage went on to Snuggly, as he's probably going to be forced to go back, as Nidalee now done forcing the top side, going to start forcing the bot.
Yeah, no TP on Governor, though, means that the first tower of the game is going to fall very quickly, followed by the bottom side of the map. But also when Engage is coming through from the Zac, not quite able to find an opening.
Yeah, nearly getting something as well. Unfortunately, Afflict is there, has a lot of damage in the back pocket. Now they're going to see a re-engage as Snuggly gets caught. They're going to get the root down onto Chrisberg, but it's just not enough. Prosper does get a nice ultimate off. There's the stopwatch from Chrisberg. He goes golden as the rest of Misfits just keep Jakamaka away. Now Croxon is here, but he's a little bit late to the party. He flashes in, has the ghost to be able to put down damage. Afflict might be in a little bit of trouble. He will fall. Prosper will follow him in the aftermath as well as Nerdrage finally get themselves some gold and some kills.
Yeah, but they need to try and equal these objectives. You can see them desperately trying to push this wave in to get the bottom lane turret. But Zoe is pushing in the mid lane as well, which means that Krogson is going to need to wander back to try and keep his mid lane safe.
They're going to get the dragons. That's going to be Ocean Drake going over the side of Nerdrage. Top lane was pushed in. Zoe, unfortunately for a special, was not in position to make a rotation from that, so he does lose out quite a bit. That's a lot there turning in favor of Nerdrage, but it's not quite enough. They still need more of those kind of fights to go back in their favor.
And this is the thing, an Ocean Drake, comparatively to Nerdrage, doesn't do a particularly large amount. It actually works out better in favor of Misfits because they want to go for that siege. It can help with a little bit of the mana regen and the health regen if you can stack up a few of them. But for Nerdrage, it's not really going to be a big factor. So they got the kills, they've answered a little bit, but what they're able to garner after isn't really going to impact the game too much. So we'll have to see a few more of these fights go in their favor first.
We'll have to wait and see, and I think Misfits, though, despite that little fight in the bot side, they will still be feeling relatively confident. They're not too shook up about it. They're going to be totally fine as long as they stick to the plan, and that's all it really is for them right now, is just sticking to that plan.
But they are executing it really well right now. As I say that as well, the Drowsy comes down, which is going to give them a little bit of time on the turret. Ooh,
so much damage. That mid lane turret will fall. We're going to see the tides of blood coming out just to try and dissuade them. But no! Shikari coming out big, gets the kill. Nicely done there from him, and I think this is when Misfits start turning it on. I think this is when they really start going in for these pushes. As you can see, Shikari, he's now looking for fights. He knows he can do anything he wants. He knows he can go anywhere he wants. And the same with Misfits as well. They're just going to clear out vision and push for towers.
And exactly what happened to Krogson is what we're going to see happen throughout this game as the siege starts up. Whoever's left beneath that turret is very quickly going to turn into a pin cushion. For the likes of Afflict and for Special, we're just going to be throwing in these long-range spells. And there's nothing you can really do about it. Snuggly might be able to hold on to one member, but the onslaught is just going to continue.
Yeah, we'll see exactly how they go for it. The Rift Herald is being taken and will be secured. So that's going to be even more pressure. And as I say that, though, Shikari might be in a little bit of trouble. They're going to gang up on him in that bot side. He's forced to flash. There is the Righteous Glory to slow him down. He will have Mega Gnar very soon. It's a 3-man ult, but only to delay. No one from the side of Misfits will be joining him, and they're going to give that one up to Krogson. Nice little overextension capitalization there from the side of Nerdrage.
Yeah, he did.
Oh! As you were about to do some analysis, there it is, like, why Zoe is stupid. And it's just not okay. It's not okay.
That's the tank as well, like, come on.
Oh my god. Special, please. They have families. Just nothing really happening right there as the Rift Herald drop into the top side. And they're going to have to keep pushing onto this as Jakamaka and Snuggly, as well as the Zacker, all kept off this turret. They're going to be able to put down so much damage as well. They might be able to get a tier 3 off this. Inhibitor taken very, very low. They have a minion wave. Flash used there by Chrisberg. And he does back away. Nothing too crazy happening off that one there. But again, just pressure. Constant pressure. You look at all of these waves, all of these lanes. It's all in favor of Misfits.
And look how quickly they're able to maneuver between them as well. Fix jumping over the walls, Tristana jumping over the walls, and Janna is so fast to boot as well. She's going to be moving there before you even know it. Now, Nerdrage looking for the engage. Governor has moved in, but Misfits have dispersed so quickly.
It's just not a lot they can do. They expend the TP, but nothing comes of it. And honestly, this is just kind of desperation play coming out from Nerdrage. They're losing this game very fast, and I don't think they know what to do.
I wouldn't know what to do. I mean, every time you turn the corner, there's somebody else from Misfits there. You think that you've got your lanes back in order, and next thing, a flick shows up, and then it's the 2v1, a couple of spells land, or else it's special cashing you out in your own jungle. There's nothing you can do in those scenarios. Those two picks ended up with just one man advantage because Shikari was back in the base, and look how much they capitalized on. They got the mid lane turret, nearly got the in-hip turret, and now it looks like actually they're going to go for the play Shikari again, but the rest of Misfits are just pushing in the mid lane as well, so he's got safety coming towards him.
Yeah, like they're going to be able to pick up this kill. Nicely done there on the side of Nerdrage, but what do they lose because of it? Yes, you invested and you got the kill, but you don't really gain much from it. It's not really a win-win. It's kind of a, we got this, now where do we go? And they're not really able to push anything off of it.
And they're also investing so much to get the kills as well. When Governors use that ultimate, it means that they can't go and pressure something like Baron right now, because ideally you'd like that ultimate up, so then when Misfits come in to be a nuisance and start to poke down the Baron, you can use that to engage before that poke hits. But they don't have that option available to them, but they do have an all-in engage available.
They do have the all engage coming in. We're going to see Frostfire. Kroxa gets ignited and gets taken down by Chrisberg, and an already botched engage. Going to see all the ultimates used. Sleep put on the Snuggly. He's going to be forced to use that grey health as Shikari now rejoins the fight. It's a double kill for Chrisberg. Maybe a triple kill. No, Zoe going to deny him. And that's going to be the rest of Nerdrage just backing away. And oh, Zach. Oh, Zach. Will he get away with it? Oh, there. Oh, Governor. But now he's in trouble. He needs to be careful as well. This Zoe is just annoying, and he's going to be able to do so much against this team. She's keeping the tanks away, burning both their flashes. This is ridiculous.
He's chasing the two of them away, which leaves the rest of Misfits available for the Baron. And he's in the...
Oh,
what? He's gone so
deep. Special, leave them alone. They're just trying to have some fun, trying to play the game. But while that was happening, the Baron did go down. So Special just keep away. And it's so difficult to see how they come back from this.
Yeah, especially when you're looking at what items are available to the tanks right now. Governor has the Ninja Tabby and the Righteous Glory to try and deal with Shikari in the split push, which means he's going to be next to useless when he ends up in these team fights with the amount of magic damage that's coming down from Afflict and from Special. And as well, when you're looking at growth, he's only got that Spectre's kill. He doesn't have anything else. So either he tries to itemize towards the armor to deal with Chrisberg, who's now working up towards that second Zeal item, or he opts into more magic resist to try and deal with Special. There's no win-win scenario here because of how far ahead Misfits are.
Yeah, it's so difficult to deal with this. 22 minutes into the game and you're already staring down the barrel of an 11,000 gold lead, and not a fun time at all. They're going to take the second out Ocean Drake for themselves as well. So right now you can see they're just setting up. They're just making sure they have all the pieces set correctly before they look for the next push.
This is all the matter of time for Misfits. This is, though, one of the big things that Shikari is getting caught out every time they try to set this up, so they do need to try and stop that. Make sure that Shikari isn't pushed up too far before they start to roll in, because it's going to be the four-man squad that's pushing in towards this siege alongside Shikari in the side lanes that enables Misfits to push in and continue this game forward. If they don't have Shikari off in the side lanes, it's too easy for Nerdrage to join up and get those engages down. I mean, yes, they botched it as his Kroxa who tried to go in first in that mid lane, but if you've got Governor with that ultimate available, you've got the Zac with that ultimate available as well, that would be a very different story.
Very different one, but will they be able to do anything? That is the question. Here we go. We're going to see the Forge God coming in. They're going to try and jump on top of the Zoe, who's just got so much disengage. They're not quite able to go. So it wasn't the Zoe, it was Afflict, excuse me. As Afflict just kind of hops and skips and jumps away. And now we're going to see the Zac Golden Kroxa on the backside also going to go down. And that's going to be a 2-for-none exchange. That's going to be pretty much an easy push in that bot side. And honestly, if the side of Misfits are feeling it, they can go for the win.
Desperation engage coming through from Nerdrage. They hadn't the vision control in their own jungle. I mean, just look at the amount of control wards that are in Misfits' pockets. 3 on the Janna alone, which means that they're just able to clear on everything. You're looking for that desperation engage with the Ornn ultimate. They don't find it. Misfits collapse, and now they're taking the face.
Yeah, there's the inhibitor tower broken down, and you can see how much damage this Zoe and this triple crit item Tristana is doing. so much potential from Misfits coming out from this comp, and then they can rotate straight away to that mid lane. And honestly, they might just rotate to the top as well. I think that's going to be their next point of call, and it's going to be a complete decimation of this team on the from Misfits as they just continue to roll in this damage and roll in the wins.
Yeah, and the entire time they're doing so, they're poking as they go. You can see already taking down Zach to about half health, and they're just going to push in towards the top, and that is where they're going to start to struggle. Look, they're not even in position right now because they've got so many places to deal with. The last engage coming through though.
Here it is, last ditch engage. We're going to see the, the ultimates come out from both sides. They actually pick up Prosphere a little bit early in the fights. They've actually got a little bit of utility route. Jakamaka is untouched. This might be the moment for it, but unfortunately Shikari shuts down everything. They get a kill, but it ends up being a 3-for-1 trade. No damage left on the side of Nerdrage, and this is going to be the game.
Yeah, and a handy win picked up as well for Misfits. They played the composition immaculately, able to keep the pressure down on the top side, allow Shikari to get to the stage where Governor wasn't able to deal with him solo, and that's when you started to see Nerdrage panic, sending multiple members to try and deal with him, which opened up the map for the rest of Misfits. Special, catching people out in the jungle. Crisper coming in with the reliable damage as well and taking down those turrets. It was near impossible for Nerdrage to keep up with them.
Congratulations to Misfits, who take that series 1-0 and 2-0 in the head-to-heads, and commiserations though to Nerdrage. They'll have to come back better and stronger, and I feel like they learned a little bit about themselves. They just need to continue with the consistency. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back very, very soon for the next game of tonight. Don't go anywhere.